Doesn't matter.
Because it's
But the projection does matter.
that's why if you have to be precise, I suggest use a pin stop.
Gotcha.
Because
Gotcha.
even your laser can be off an 1/8 inch.
For sure.
Even if you just calibrated it, your laser could be off an 1/8 inch. So if you have a vein trying to match another vein, and you don't want that vein off an 1/8 inch, be safe and use 3 pin stops, and then it's gonna be exactly where it'd be as accurate as your picture.
I have a question for you because you run a shop, I don't. Can you use your pin stops on a raw slab?
I think you do need to be a little bit more strategic with where you put it.
So,
right?
Because how
But you
often do you use pin stops?
We do use them every day.
Yeah.
Because we do.
Because you have a regular bridge saw too, right?
Yeah,
Or no?
Yeah, but I try not to crank. I don't need to crank it. I'll do something like maybe cut a backsplash over there or something. There are certain jobs that we need to cut face up. Certain stones. You have some stones with some cracks in it, and you just got to be a little bit more careful with certain types of materials. So we do so much work every day. We are cutting something traditional. And my guys just got in the habit of using pin stops for the traditional work. I don't know why. I don't think they need to, but I like them using it every day just to keep them fresh. But the software will mirror it automatically. Use pin stops if you need to be exact. But if you're just talking about like a blotch meeting a blotch, usually the laser is going to line all that up.
So secondarily, for same types of material, very tight layouts. So what is the layout? How close can your pieces be, or is this going to for the hybrid cycle? Whereas to traditionally, I can nest things so tight that my slab yield can get pretty ridiculous.
I've had this conversation with several I had a water jet company come into my shop, and I said, if you can save me one piece out of my last 10 jobs, that your piece was usable, right? From my last 10 jobs, and I'll seriously consider buying a water jet. So we sat down and nested all these pieces on 10 jobs. And I'll literally challenge anybody to this any day. We can go log on to my system, and you see the date that all my programs were written. We can start looking at them and try to nest them, right? And what I find 9 out of 10 times, or more like 99 out of 100, instead of a 13-inch piece of trash, you'll have a 14-inch piece of trash. That's what I find. There are exceptions to where you got a 75-inch tall slab and you need to do 3 25-inch runs, which isn't even possible because you're going to burn whatever 1/8 inch with blade or water jet, whatever you're using. But let's just, for conversation, right? Not everything's hybridable. Just cut it and then flip it over like normal. But the answer to your question is 20 millimeter gap will polish and get you through any angle, any cut. Your worst. Now that's on double E's. You start doing
Sweet
OG
hat,
or
Tucker.
something like that. Yeah. But you have you can. I think the yield is the same as a water jet. I really do.
Yeah, we've been put up to that challenge many times with many different customers. And what I will tell you, from an operator at one point in my career before I came over to Poseidon, is that we have not had a situation that we weren't able to accomplish the same nesting situation. We're just doing it different.
I wanted to tell a story yesterday, and I didn't. And obviously, traditional versus non-traditional. Yeah, thank you.
Brandon, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming up.
No,
Any
thanks
other
for the
brave
question.
souls out there?
Please come on.
Ability
And if there's anybody
come
else
up.
that wants to
Hey,
say,
Brandon, you got to give me some love here.
for real,
Yeah,
for real. And then Joe got out of it.
Figured it
He
out.
made us do it.
There's
Yeah.
Joey Marcella's twin
But
brother.
he sounds like shit, so.
You want
It's,
to tell the story, and then we'll wrap
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
with
Let's
some
let's
more
do that
questions?
because I'm sure they're kind of like looking for me. But yeah, so what I like about my traditional stuff is that I'm able to walk into some opportunities that I just can't do what you guys are doing by changing their entire shop. So I mean, this is a mega shop. Let's say they're on the moon, and they have 4 Baca dual tables, right? I just don't want to say where they are. And I know the guy. We have history with Komanduli. He's like, dude, I'd love to put your stuff in here. I just don't have room. I need to buy a fifth Baca, right? And I mean, that Baca's badass, right? Cut some slabs.
And
That's
full
what
load.
that's what he does. So what I saw, and I was like, look, let me take a look at your production, and I guarantee that my micro will change your life. And he's like, all right, let's put one down, proof of concept. He told me that each table was cutting 75 square feet more. With that machine, he bought 3 more. He doesn't need to, he needed to move shops because he wanted a 5th dual table,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
Now he's got 3 micros in there doing 150 sinks a day. He's like, dude, you just saved me millions of dollars to move my entire shop because you saw something that nobody else did, and everyone's trying to throw routers at me. He goes, we're not router people. You know, and that's where I wonder if people sometimes are automatically disqualified by getting scared of this hybrid cycle because they're like, dude, this is a lot going on. And I think you guys have made it so easy for people that you've reduced that. But
to talk to that same point, because you're talking about saving real estate, which real estate's expensive. Sometimes you got to add on to your shop. You're looking at that. One thing that takes up a lot of space that people don't recognize, if you really go back and you're doing a high level of production, is your work in progress carts. So if you're stacking up work in progress carts when you're making all the moves from cutting and then going to another process, and then you're running high level of production, take a look at the real estate that your work in progress carts are stacking up. And that takes a ton of real estate as well. So we minimize that.
No,
and
for
frankly,
sure.
I had the same study done for a shop that was which had architectural plans sitting on their desk, ready to go. I happened by chance to go in their shop and said, you don't need to add another router or add another saw. You need to get a T-Rex because we're going to eliminate the work in progress carts and have it finished right away. And they stopped their real estate project. So
doesn't that
that's
feel doesn't that the best feeling ever?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's hard to get somebody to figure out how to do 5,000 square feet a day, right?
Yeah.
It's he's doing it. He's spending less money on garnet, the water jet maintenance. You know, he's cutting rectangles instead of a bunch of rectangles with a bunch of holes and then still polishing.
So is the solution to put a T-Rex with the micro?
That's
Is
what
that
I'm
the
saying.
ultimate
That's what
solution that we just
I've
came
been
up with?
saying.
Maybe, it might be.
So I've been wanting to say this, and I know we're wrapping up, and I'm not pushing the T-Rex. I'm pushing the hybrid cycle here once again. But that transition can be very scary, and the easiest way to make that transition is also a solution to kind of what you're saying. You got this big shop, or you got these equipment, and it's like, what do you do? Because you can't go all in. You know, it's kind of hard to just change. So what my shop did when we first started making the transition, you know, I was looking for another saw because I had 2 routers running, and you know, we were running a lot of stuff through the line polisher, and we was getting a little bottleneck with the saw, and we was a little nervous the saw was going to go down, and then we was going to be in a major problem because we were up to like 20 slabs a day, and you know, you're pushing it so hard. So at that point, when we brought on our first dual table machine ever, right, which I think no matter what you get cutting, you have to have a dual table, in my opinion, if you're going to do our production, right? So we were able to still cut 15 slabs on the north side of the T-Rex while hybriding 4 cycles a day. And it was a transition for it to get, like, to pick the
Get your
job.
feet wet with
get your feet wet.
dual
like,
process.
We were able to say, all right, I'm going to keep these 2 routers, and I'm going to cut on the north table 15 slabs and feed these 2 routers, and I'm going to get 4 hybrid cycle jobs done a day. And it was a transition. And then once we got the hybrid cycles mastered, we're like, look, my guy said, hey, let me work Saturday and just hybrid everything versus doing it the other way. And they started like begging me to just do hybrid. And that's whenever we pulled the trigger and we went with 3 machines.
And that says a lot about your guys, because I run into some people that bought a machine to do something, let's call it a hybrid cycle, or intended to be working some way, and the operator just won't do it.
It
And does
took
that
me-
ever
yeah,
happen
it
to you
took-
guys where you sell someone a hybrid
took me
and
a
then they
year.
don't hybrid and you're like, dude, you're sandbagging yourself.
I was running.
Yeah,
I
but
was
Benji,
running
I
the-
remember when I was running my shop back in 2002, and I would cut out a bridge saw and then bring it to the hand shop, and then I put my first router in, and I couldn't get guys to
Right, that's
put
what I'm
the
talking
slabs
about,
on the
yeah.
router.
No,
They wanted
no.
to do it by hand. I had this brand new router sitting there, and it
awesome.
reminds me of those days. So yeah, change is tough.
For sure.
Well, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
No, appreciate
I
it.
want to thank Benji Cordy for joining us in our booth. It takes a lot of courage to do that and just be open in
It's
the
a pleasure.
industry. So we appreciate that, and we thank you guys for joining us. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm out of here. Going to the crap stable.
Let's go. I hope you crush it, man. All right, let me get my Poseidon shirt.
How hard is it standing up here and pretending like traditional fabrication is still better?
Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know how much money you make, but I make a lot of money selling it. So
Cody.
I gotta believe it.
Do this before he screws it up. Dude, thank you,
Boom.
man. Appreciate it. Sure, thank you, too.
Let's go. Let me pop by the booth, make sure that they're not pissed off.
All right, man. Good seeing you.
Which one?
So you got to give me the clips. What's going on?
Just trying to get it wrapped
Still,
up.
still, is he coming around? Or?